Is there something you've been trying to fix about yourself for years, and the more you try, the more entrenched it seems to become? Have you ever sensed that the approach you're using to change might be aimed at the wrong level, managing the surface while something deeper goes untouched? When you think about the strategies religion has handed you for becoming a better person, do you feel like they're reaching the root or cleaning the outside of something? What would it mean if the problem wasn't your effort, your sincerity, or your commitment, but the direction you've been applying them? Hold those questions. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes answering them. Welcome back to Inside Out, encountering the reality behind the religion. Last time, we named the wheel. We described that exhausting cycle, the one where you try harder, rededicate yourself, make another vow, set another goal, and then find yourself 6 months later back in the exact same place. And we asked a hard question. What if the problem isn't the effort? What if it's the mechanism itself? Today we go one level deeper, because the wheel isn't an accident. It wasn't invented by bad theology or weak character or a particularly rough season. It's a construction, deliberately designed, ancient in origin, and so deeply embedded in the way most of us think about change that we've never noticed we're inside it. Today we name the lie that built it. And I want to tell you up front, this is the most hopeful thing in the series. Because once you understand exactly why a strategy has been failing, you can stop blaming yourself for the failure, and you can start asking a different question. Here's a line I want you to sit with. The first recorded words spoken by the enemy in human history were not a temptation. They were a question. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God actually say?" Read that carefully. The enemy didn't open with violence. He didn't open with an invitation to worship something else. He didn't even open with a temptation to outright evil. He opened with a question aimed at a belief. Specifically, a question designed to make the woman doubt what was true about God and what was true about herself. Did God really say? Is He really that generous? Are you really that loved? Are you really that safe? Now, here's the thing that matters most about this. The strategy has not changed. Not in thousands of years. Not once. What the enemy has always been after is not your behavior. It's your beliefs. Because he understands something the church has often forgotten. Behavior flows from belief, not the other way around. Corrupt what a person believes about God, and the behavior will corrupt on its own, without any additional pressure, without a single overt temptation. Just a question aimed at the right place. The lie sounds like this. You are not yet acceptable as you are. God is waiting for the performance to improve before He moves toward you. If you just try harder in the right direction, something will finally give way inside you. That's the lie. And the wheel, the exhausting cycle we named last week, is what happens when a person runs that lie through every area of their life and calls it spiritual growth. It's not a character failure. It's what a false belief produces when you apply effort to it. Jesus diagnosed this, not gently, not indirectly. Matthew 23 is the only place in all four Gospels where Jesus is operating at that pitch. The sharpest language he ever used, aimed at the most disciplined, most religiously rigorous people of his era, the scribes and Pharisees, people who had dedicated their entire lives to getting it right. And here's what he said. Verses 25 and 26. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside they are full of greediness and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, so that the outside of it may become clean also. Now, I want you to notice what he's doing here. He is not adding a rule. He's not calling them to more discipline. He's doing something more precise than that. He's taking the language they built their entire system around and inverting it. The word he uses for clean, in Greek, to cleanse, to purify. The word is katharízō. It's the exact verb used throughout the Jewish law for ritual purification. The Pharisees had constructed an entire religious architecture around katharízō applied to the outside. The cup, the hand, the vessel, the practice. And Jesus takes their own word, the word their whole system is built on, and says, the only version of this verb that matters is the one applied to the inside first. That was not a comment on hygiene. It was a structural diagnosis of an entire strategy for change. The outside can be made to look clean. The inside remains exactly what it was. And here's the critical line. The outside will not stay clean as long as the inside remains untouched. That's the cup, that's the wheel, that's the lie. I want to give you an image for this. The Scotch Thistle. If you've spent any time in the American West, you've probably encountered it. It's one of the most invasive plants in that region. Striking, actually. Tall, purple-headed, visually dramatic. But once it reaches full bloom, something happens. Herbicides lose most of their potency against it. You can spray the surface all season long, apply every conventional treatment available, and come back the following spring to find it denser than it was the year before. The only thing that works at that stage is root removal. You have to go underground, get below the visible plant, find what's feeding the whole system, and pull it out from there. Apply that to the interior life. Once a false belief is established at depth, formed through years of experience, reinforcement by 1,000 confirming moments, surface treatments will not reach it. Behavior modification, willpower, positive self-talk, accountability structures, more information, more sermons, another conference. You are spraying herbicide on something that has to be pulled from the root. And I want to say this carefully, because I know someone listening has been working very hard for a very long time. The tools you've been given, the willpower, the accountability group, the rededication, the reading plan, the vow to do better this time, none of that is evidence of a weak character. You were sincere. The effort was real. It's the direction that was wrong. None of those tools reached the level where the belief lives. The reason nothing has changed at depth isn't that you haven't tried hard enough. It's that the trying was always aimed at the wrong layer. That is not condemnation. That is the most accurate diagnosis available. Because if you understand exactly what hasn't been reaching the root, you can stop blaming yourself for the failure. And you can start asking, what kind of intervention does? The Apostle Paul named this same war in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not wage battle according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. We are destroying arguments and all arrogance raised against the knowledge of God. Most people read fortresses and imagine something external, a difficult circumstance, an enemy outside the gate. But Paul is describing something internal. The fortresses are architectures of false belief. The accumulated arguments a mind constructs to defend what it has decided is true about God, about itself, about the world. Mental structures that feel like settled fact, but are actually positions built on the foundation of an early wound or a long-running lie. And Paul is saying, weapons of the flesh, effort, discipline, willpower, performance, cannot touch them. What can touch them is something operating at the same level where the lie was established, which is exactly where encounter operates. I'm not going to give you the full answer today. That's what the rest of this series is for. But I want to name something clearly before we go any further. The oldest lie is outside in. The gospel, the actual gospel, not the performance religion most systems have handed us, has always been inside out. And the diagnostic question underneath everything we're going to explore for the next 10 episodes is simply this: which direction have you been facing? I want to pause here because this could land as discouragement. Another thing you've been doing wrong. Another layer of inadequacy on the pile. That's not what this is. What I want you to hear is this: the wheel you've been on was designed to fail, not because of anything wrong with you, but because the direction was wrong from the beginning. And when Jesus said, clean the inside of the cup first, he was not issuing a harder requirement. He was pointing toward the only direction that has ever actually worked. The inside is where encounter operates. The inside is where the lie lives. And the inside is where, and only where, the lie can be displaced by something true. That means there is a way forward. Not more effort in the same direction, a different direction entirely. Before we close, I want to lead you through the practice from this chapter. If you're driving, save this. Come back to it when you can be still. If you're ready, let's go. This practice asks for something specific, not a general inventory of where things stand, but one particular area, one place where the outside has been attended while the inside has gone untouched. You know what I mean. The area where you've been managing, coping, presenting well, while something underneath has never actually moved. You are not here for condemnation. Jesus diagnosed the Pharisees' strategy, not their worth. He's not standing over you with the same indictment. He is standing beside you. And he can see the dish clearly. Let's begin. Jesus is here, in this room right now. Not after you've improved, not when you've resolved the area you're about to bring to him. He is already here. And his presence toward you is not contingent on what he's about to show you. Take a moment and let that be true. Quietly, out loud if you can, say this: Jesus, will you show me the specific area where I've been cleaning the outside? The place where I've been managing the surface while the root goes untouched? Then wait. With the eyes of your heart, look for him. Notice what he draws your attention toward. It may be an image, a memory, a specific area of your life that surfaces with unusual clarity, or simply a word. Don't analyze it yet. Don't defend yourself against it. Just look at what he's pointing to, and notice where he is in relation to it. Stay there with him. Notice his expression. Notice how it feels to be in his presence while he shows you this. The diagnosis is his gift to you, not the end of the conversation, the beginning of the right one. When you're ready to come back, write down what he showed you before you interpret it. Capture the image, the area, the word he named. And if you want to go further, bring it back to him. Ask him, Jesus, what do you want to show me about what's been feeding this? Don't try to figure that out on your own. The question isn't homework. It's an invitation to stay in the conversation with him. The dish gets cleaned from the inside, or it doesn't get cleaned at all. That is not a harder requirement. It's a different direction entirely. And the one who named it first, the one who looked at the most religiously disciplined people in his world and said you are cleaning the wrong side, is the same one who can take you there. Not because you've earned the cleaning, because he came to do it. Next time, we're going to ask the question the honest part of you has been holding back. Is any of this actually real? Not in a doctrinal sense, but real in the sense that matters. Does the encounter actually happen? Is there genuine evidence? Or is this another beautifully constructed religious framework that doesn't close the gap? Episode 3 is called Reasonable Reality, and we're going to go there together. I'll see you then.